Hello folks, Kent Hovind here at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is January 7th, 2019. Happy birthday to grandson Jordan. And we're going to start what's going to be a long process, looks like, of answering the skeptic, Mr. Lawrence Nelson, who goes by the name R and Ra. We're going to answer some of the things he's doing through with his, what he calls round two, part two, of his response. I asked him simply, what are the best three evidences for evolution? He went for 20 minutes on other topics and then finally gave the three evidences that he thought were the best for evolution. So I went through and gave a long answer to his and finally got to his three. If he would have just started with the three evidences, we wouldn't have to do all this, Larry. So anyway, this would all be on the same thing here. You rant and rave about all kinds of things, and I have to defend myself, or people might believe what you're saying. So first of all, a couple of preliminary notes. Larry, you are not a sun god. I know you like the name R and Ra, the sun god. You're not God. Try walking on water. I hate to break it to you, but you're not God. Okay, so I'm going to call you Larry, and you in your series call me inmate number or whatever it is, and I'm no longer an inmate. I was an inmate unjustly. If I go Google Kent Hovind is innocent.com and watch the videos, tell me what law I broke. Half the Bible's written from prison. Many people have been imprisoned for not doing anything wrong. I mean, that's the history of the world. Look at the Nazis or the communists or South Africa. The list is long. Anyway, that's a different story. I don't care. Call me what you want. Larry. Observations here. I notice the first one you did, the clouds in the background were light colored and, bright. And now every series they seem to be getting darker. I would encourage you as people watch this, to notice when we do the inserts of the original one, you see nice bright clouds, and now it's getting darker and darker. It seems like you're getting upset, Larry. Nothing to get upset about. If there's no God and there are no rules and there's no such thing as right and wrong, how could you possibly get upset about anything? I mean, the scowl on your face is, you need the Lord. He would help fix that from the inside. Now, I would love to try to win you to Christ, and I'm going to try, and I'll try my best to be friendly to you. However, I'm a little more concerned, I guess, about all the people you're influencing to not believe God's word when there's no scientific reason, or historical, or mathematical, or logical, or rational, no reason to reject the clear, simple teachings of God's word. I believe God made the world in 6 literal 24-hour days, about 6,000 years ago. There was a big flood about 4,400 years ago that destroyed everything in the days of Noah, and we cover all that in our seminar series. That is what I believe. Without apology, I take that stand. So I guess I'm curious, Larry, how on earth can anything be right or wrong? Why would you care what I teach? I'm not influencing you in any way. You don't pay my salary. I don't pay your salary. Why does this issue bother you? I'm simply teaching the creation story, and you seem extremely upset about it, that I would dare to teach something different than what you happen to believe, your religion of evolution. I'm sorry. So secondly, or thirdly, fourthly, I guess, I know you get upset about Dr. Kent Hovind. Okay, somebody else made me the cup. I didn't make it for myself. Okay, but yes, I have earned my doctor's degree, whether you like it or not, and it's from a non-accredited school. But if you like to talk to people or about people who have a doctor's degree from an accredited school, and yet they believe they came from a rock or a worm, I'm not impressed with their education either. So you don't have to call me doctor, but if it offends you when I take a drink of carrot juice from my Dr. Kent Hovind cup that a friend of mine bought me, too bad. Okay, let's watch Larry and what he says here, and then make a few comments.
This is the second part of my second round of this debate. The reason it's in multiple parts is that inmate number 0645-2017 has changed the rules.
I didn't change the rules. By the way, the dark clouds in the background and the fan blowing the hair, very effective. Keep it up. People are very impressed by that. I didn't change the rules. I said, you give your best three evidences. You broke the rules on your first tape. And by the way, why do rules matter anyway if there's no God? What difference would it make? A friend of mine, a counselor who does professional counseling for megabucks, is going to call in here soon and give his comments after he watched your stuff. He said, I can't believe the logical fallacies this guy's committing. So we'll just call him Robert. He's going to call in here soon, and we'll add his comments on this. But how on earth can there be, why would it matter about changing the rules if there's no God? I'm curious about that. Okay, the deal was, you give your best three evidences. You finally did. I would give my response, which I did in 7 videos. You then can give your response to that, which you're doing now. And by the way, by the original rule, this is your last shot at it. and then I give a final response. You started off with 3 best evidences, I responded, you counterattack, I counterattack, it's over. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot more time on this. A lot of my people are saying, don't waste any time on him at all. Larry, I'd really like to win you to Christ, okay? You're going to face God one day, and I'm going to have to say, God, I tried my best, and I'm going to try. Anyway, let's continue here.
Originally, he said,
Aaron will make a video of his best 3 evidences for evolutionism. Aaron, what's the best 3 evidences you know of to support evolutionism? I will play the video in its entirety. Unless there's profanity, I will edit that out. And I had to once. We can talk without cursing, which I don't know if you can, but he can't. He can't. But I will play the video in its entirety, but I will hit pause and interject my comments as needed. So we will then supply an edited video. It'll be his comments on the proof for evolution with my interjections as often as necessary.
So the arrangement was that I make a video and he supplies an edited video responding to that. And I make another video responding to that one, and so on. But that's not what happened. When I accepted this debate, I cut out about a half hour of his commentary because it wasn't relevant.
Well, then you broke the rules, Larry. You're supposed to play it in its entirety. Just because you think it's not relevant, I think there's actually another reason. You cut out a half hour because you couldn't answer. You didn't like what I said. I've played every single word of yours so far. I may have to, since you've already started this, cut out a bunch of your unnecessary, I almost said it, comments that we normally find out in the field. Okay, here we go.
Only about 6 minutes pertained to me and this debate, wherein he introduced me.
Okay, and only about 3 minutes of your first one pertain to the where's the evidence for evolution. Go back and watch it. I don't know how, you keep careful times of everything. It must really eat at you, taking all the notes you do. I just do this on the fly. But I think it was like 26 or 7 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever your first one was, and only just 2 or 3 minutes about the 3 evidences for evolution. And you're complaining about me doing this? Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Come on, son. Think about it. Go back and check it yourself. How much time? I just simply said, what's your best 3 evidences for evolutionism? And it took you 20-some minutes to get to it. So this is what you're doing is what's called projection. You're projecting your flaws and your lack of logic onto me, like I did it. I followed the rules. Anyway, rules don't matter since there's no God. I'm sorry.
To his audience and made a few personal jabs at me, and that it.
A few personal jabs, like calling me inmate number 06452-017 or whatever it was. Okay, it's been 3 years, I don't remember, and don't care.
Introduction. So in my video, accepting that challenge, I too did about 10 minutes of intro in much the same fashion for a month.
You might want to go back and check the time, Larry. I think it's more like 20 minutes, okay? Get somebody to teach you how to run a watch, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'll do it for you if you'd like. If you can't figure it out, I'll show you how to check the time, how long you spent, without answering the simple 3 questions. Where's the evidence for evolutionism?
My audience. And he complained all the way through it that I didn't just give my evidence up front, as if he didn't know it was coming, which of course he did. And my intro was followed by 10 minutes of debate, wherein I provided my 3 best lines of evidence and expected him to
then supply an edited video.
But that's not what he did.
I think
when he realized he couldn't have equal time because the format he asked for.
Wait a minute. Before we talk about equal time, Larry, do you remember the first debate we had on the non sequitur show, whatever that is? We had agreed equal time. You interrupted me 288 times. Somebody else counted. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't care. And you spoke, they said you spoke for 62 minutes and I got 36 minutes. You're the one that can't follow the rules. It's kind of like Goliath challenging David. Send a man out here, 1 against 1. And when Goliath shows up, he's got a guy bearing his shield in front of him. Oh, so it's 2 against 1. Can't follow the rules. Okay. So anyway, let's continue here.
Or wasn't structured for that beyond exchanging 1 video for 1 video as we agreed.
No, we did not agree to exchange 1 video for 1 video. Stop lying, Larry. We agreed you would give your best 3 evidences and I would respond if it takes me 200 videos. That was never the agreement, 1 video for 1 video. Where did you get that, son?
Got upset about it and wanted to get vengeance for not getting equal time in our discussion on the non sequitur show.
Well, I'm not trying to get vengeance. I just think I just pointing out it was unfair. Doesn't matter. I think people who watch that would say my 36 minutes contained a whole lot more common sense science than your 62 minutes did of speculation about how we all came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago or whatever it was. Here we are. Notice the nice clouds in the background, just observation. You must have been happier that day than you are today, because the clouds are darker. I'm just assuming that means something. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those subtle, what do they call that? Subliminal thing. Okay. The discussion, whatever you want to call it, the discussion agreement was equal time. And that's only fair. So rather than say, oops, I'm wrong, Hovind, I'm sorry, you only got 30-some minutes, I got 60-some, that wasn't right, was it? Here we go. I'm going to take 6 years on this one, Aaron, and I'm going to explain word by word where you are wrong, and we'll go back and forth on this until you get tired.
Here is a tacit admission that he is deliberately wasting my time.
I am not wasting your time. This whole thing is a waste of everybody's time, but you started it. You guys are demanding that all of us teach your religion in the public schools. You're stealing everybody's tax dollars to push a religion of evolutionism. It's got nothing to do with science. It's unrelated to earth science, biology, physical science. There is not a single thing in real science that has anything to do with evolution. Even if it were true about the history of how the world got here, it's completely useless. So you're the ones demanding that we pay for your religion to be taught, and I think we have the right to say, no, we don't want to pay for that. Go start your own private school and teach evolution to those that want to pay and come learn it. That would be perfectly fair.
Instead of supplying an edited video as he agreed to do, he replied with 7 videos, averaging more than...
I did not agree to supply an edited video. I agreed to answer with all sorts of whatever time it takes. And it took 7 videos. It's 40 minutes each. Steve, how much can you put on one video? I had 7 40-minute videos, 280 minutes. Would that go on one? Yeah, I could do one YouTube for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I could have done it all in one, Larry, if you'd prefer. We can bunch it all up into one. Okay.
46 minutes each to my one 20-minute video where there was only 10 minutes of debate.
I think you better go back and check the time. I think yours was more like 27. I mean, since you're so concerned about the minutes. Okay. Yeah. And you didn't spend 10 minutes on your 3 answers. You spent like 2 minutes on your 3 proofs for evolution. Get somebody else to take the time down for you. Okay.
There wasn't much debate in any of his videos either. All he was supposed to do was address my evidence, but he spent the vast majority of that time, 4 out of 7 episodes, bitching and whining and pedantically quibbling about...
All you were supposed to do is give the best 3 evidences for evolution, and you spent the first 20-some minutes on the same stuff. Get a mirror, son. Go look in the mirror. You're the one doing this. I'm just having to respond to defend myself, my good name. You continually call me a liar. I resent that. Okay, I have to see. I believe I have to stand before God someday. You do too, whether you believe it or not. And the Bible says, "Every idle word men shall speak; they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment." Matthew 12, verse 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. So I take it very serious. And all you atheists freely just say, Ken Hovind's lying, he's lying. I assure you, I try very hard to be very truthful in everything I say. I have to please God, and I take it serious. So no, I didn't whine and lie in any of my videos. Here we go.
Insignificant trivialities that he's still wrong about, but it's not worth going into. And then trying to insult me or bringing up other topics as red herrings, asking questions about other subjects, things I wouldn't even address if we were going to stick to the topic, while also insisting that we should talk about one thing at a time, which
I would love to talk about one thing at a time. That's why I said, give me your best 3 evidences, and we'll talk about them one at a time. What on earth is the problem there? Anyway, let's go here.
Prefer to do if he would just let that happen. Instead, he was raving, going on about things that don't have anything to do with his debate with me, or he'd go several minutes at a time with inapplicable anecdotes, misrepresenting absurdities of things I don't really believe or that evolution doesn't really teach because...
You don't really believe we all came from a rock? You don't really believe we all came from soup? You guys see, now that you've been cornered, I show the 6 different meanings of the word evolution, okay? And I do this quite frequently during my discussion. Evolution, cosmic evolution, that's the origin of time, space, matter. Chemical evolution, the origin of all the elements, 92 elements plus the synthetic ones. Stellar and planetary evolution. You have to have these to get the origin of matter so that something can come alive, which is organic evolution, which has never been observed. And then macroevolution, which is changing from one kind of animal to another. And then microevolution, which should not be called that. It's just simple variations. And I point out hundreds of times, number 6 happens. This one's science. The rest are religion. And you guys are masters at giving examples of number 6 and trying to get everybody to believe the first 5 are true. But now that it's been exposed clearly that there are really 6 different levels or meanings to that word or stages to evolution, you guys are panicking, saying, oh, evolution doesn't include that. It only includes after life starts. Well, I'm glad we got you finally to admit you can't explain the first 4. But no, evolution doesn't happen even then. And now you're all caught up on this. Well, I'm going to get to some of the comments about your little lines on paper about tracing animals back. They say, oh, like you guys will say, yes, we know dogs always produce dogs. Okay, but yet your lines on paper show dogs and bananas going back to a common ancestor. So that common ancestor had to be either dog or banana. And so if everything only produces after its kind, like you guys say, well then how did it change from whatever it was into banana and dog? Because it changed kinds. You say, well, going forward, it's always going to stay the same. But going backwards and in your imagination, it somehow did differently. It's absolute stupidity. We'll get more, okay.
He's relying on straw men as well as a host of other fallacies. And when he does ask a question worthy of an answer, he'd repeat it again later on, and then again a few minutes later, or in the...
That's because you don't answer it. You dodge it. You dance around it. Answer the simple question. Does the evolution theory teach all life started in a warm little pond, which came from the rocks dissolving, from the rain on the rocks, from a planet that cooled down from a hot molten mass? I show straight from the textbooks that's exactly what they teach. So, simple question, Larry. Do you believe life started from a rock or rocks dissolved in water? Do you believe those rocks came from a molten planet that cooled down over billions of years? Or millions, whatever you want to use. Do you believe that molten planet came from an explosion of nothing exploding? That's the Big Bang Theory. That's what's in the textbook. That's my whole gripe. We're all paying for one religion of evolutionism to be taught, and it's not right. It shouldn't be that way. So do you believe those things, or are you going to try to dodge the question again and say, that's not part of evolution? I'll give the answer for you. Hovind, that's not part of evolution. Yes, it is, Larry. Yes, it is. Okay, go ahead.
The next video, or in all of them. So if I did play the whole thing like he wanted, I'd have to repeat the answer too, every time he asked it. There's no sense in doing that. But he wanted me to play everything he said, even the off-topic nonsense, without cutting anything. But if I did that, then even if we did equal time, my reply to his 40-minute video would be 80 minutes, and his reply to that would be 2 hours and 40 minutes, and so on. Because they'd have to get exponentially longer if nothing ever gets deleted. And his first response droned on for 5.5 hours.
World's smallest violin playing your sad song. You guys, if you add up the total time taught in all the public schools and public universities pushing the religion of evolution, it would go into the millions of hours. Millions of hours are being wasted in our school system pushing this dumb evolution religion. I ain't got time for that. Let's just...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That was
the
good.
reason I'm telling you this now is that he got mad when I deleted most of his irrelevant rambling to try and cut them.
Hello, yes, sir.
Hey, brother.
Hey, I'm up to 4 minutes of Larry Aaron Ra Nelson. You've watched this a couple of times. I've asked you to because you do counseling on the professional level, and you can spot, I guess, what's the polite way of saying it? You can spot logical fallacies. You've watched Larry Nelson's diatribe about creation, evolution, and I've asked you to do this, and you do professional counseling, and so I thought you could spot logical fallacies. Would you please let folks know what your response is, what your thoughts are on what Larry's been saying so far?
I got about 8 minutes into it, and it's loaded with logical fallacies so far.
Okay.
To actually watch it and to count them all would take quite a bit of time.
Well, give us a few examples of logical fallacies that you saw.
Well, in the first few minutes, he kind of prattles on about fairness and rightness. You have to borrow from the Christian worldview to actually talk about absolute fairness or absolute right and wrong. So he literally borrows from the Christian worldview. At one point, he accuses you of being deliberately dishonest. So when you accuse someone of something like that, you're appealing to an absolute standard.
Right.
The only way to have an absolute standard is if there's an absolute lawgiver, which would be God. Very simple. It goes like this. Number one, if God does not exist, absolute moral values and duties don't exist. So in other words, if you lie to Aaron Ross, so what? Maybe your opinion is that lying to Aaron Ross is a good thing. If there's no absolute standard of right and wrong, what's he complaining about?
Right.
But we know that absolute moral values and duties do exist. For example, everybody knows that hurting an innocent child or raping a woman or cannibalism are wrong. Even cannibals don't eat people in their own tribes.
Yeah, we got to wonder about that.
Right. So we know that, number two, that moral values and duties, absolute moral values and duties do exist. So therefore, God exists. If there's at least one thing, just one, that is morally wrong, like Ken Hovind teaches creation, and Aaron Russ feels that that's morally wrong. If there's one thing in the world that's morally wrong, then God must exist.
You know, Peter predicted this so well, 2 Peter chapter 3. In the last days there would be scoffers, and you can insert Larry Nelson's name in there, who would be willingly ignorant of the creation, the flood, and the coming judgment of God.
I've noticed that most of the time people like this take a few context-free verses from the Bible and hold it up as wrong and illogical, and they pride themselves on using logic, but it rarely ever comes to being.
Well, sounds good. Now, you have kind of two careers. You were professional boxing, and if this were a boxing match, how's Larry doing?
Oh, he would have been in trouble in the first round. Yeah, the referee would have stopped it, and they would have been carrying him out on a stretcher. But, you know, I've seen it happen with him, though, and with the followers. It's like a feeding frenzy, and they talk about how great he did. It's kind of like when you're playing a pickup basketball game and you take a timeout and you walk off the court to get a drink, and the other team goes up and shoots a couple of baskets and say they won.
When you're not even there to defend it. Yeah, good. All right, let's continue here.
And his round two could be 49 full-length feature films of mostly unnecessary nonsense.
Everything you've said is unnecessary nonsense, Larry, but I'm playing it anyway. I like to be fair. Okay.
No. Debates don't work that way, and I don't work for him.
Boy, that is the truth, and that I am so glad for that. And guess what? I don't work for you either.
I'm certainly not going to dedicate the rest of my life to answering his next response.
Well, I have dedicated my life to answering the evolution nonsense because you guys very sneakily and successfully took over our school system and our Congress and our legal system and everything else in the last 100 years. And so we're kind of on the outside looking in right now. What used to be a Christian nation, if it was actually a Christian nation, but certainly godly principles, you guys took it over by theft. And so, yeah, I don't mind spending a lot of time, and I'm going to show people the logical fallacies, the nonsense that you spew, and the religion that you have, and how dangerous and how dumb it is to believe we all came from a rock. So yes, I don't mind, Larry. I won't get tired. You'll get tired way before I do.
I don't think he was just trying to waste my time. He was trying to waste yours.
I can't waste anybody's time. They can hit off. Nobody has to watch this. This is not wasting anybody's time. Most of the people who watch my stuff enjoy it and learn a lot, and they come because they want to. Nobody's forced to do this. Now, in public school, it's different. They're forced to sit there and listen to that stuff to get that degree, or they can't graduate from school. I don't force anybody to come to my church, to come to my Dinosaur Adventureland, to listen to my stuff. Nobody's forced to listen to this, Larry. Nobody. We're all forced to listen to your nonsense taught in the public schools. So I think you got it backwards.
Hoping to make these rebuttals go so long and get so confused that no one would watch them all.
No, I think that's what happens in the public schools. They keep droning on and on about the evidence for evolution and make it so convoluted and confusing that the student says, oh, I give up. That's exactly what you guys do. Anybody wants to, at this point right now, if you would exit right now if you don't want to watch anymore, but if you want to, keep going.
So that no one would see how badly he's losing. Because inmate number 0645-2017 isn't just losing a debate by going against me. He's losing donors and minions to do his work for him.
I'm losing a debate by going against you. I'm losing minions and donors. Well, why are you worried about that if there's no God? I'm not worried about donors or minions or debates. I'm worried about truth. And I'm going to preach the truth. And if everybody leaves, fine. Jesus had that problem in John chapter 6. All of his disciples left him, except for the 12. He had hundreds following him. He said something that was hard to follow. John chapter 6. He's turned to the 12 and said, are you also going to go away? They said, who can we go to? You have the words of life. So, Larry, I don't live my life worrying about pleasing a group of people and being careful what I say. I worry about pleasing God and be careful about what I say because all I care about is pleasing God. And if everybody leaves me and Dinosaur Adventureland closes down and nobody follows our YouTube channel and nobody buys my videos, I'm okay with that if God's happy. I'm not doing any of this. I'm not pulling any punches to please anybody. I just want to please God.
He knows that. And I think that's why he's been so visibly sensitive since our first meeting. He's obviously still a little sore.
I assure you, Larry, I am not the least bit sore, okay? I'm baffled. I love this format better than letting you interrupt 288 times in an hour and a half or whatever it was. So this format's wonderful. I got this little pause button here. This is great. This has got to frustrate you to death. Maybe that's why the clouds are getting darker. Calm down, take a pill, chill out. It's okay. Okay. It's just a video. Relax. And there's no God anyway, so what difference does it make?
He doesn't abide by his own rules, so he doesn't make the rules for me. I'm going to fix this mess and do this the right way.
Good.
He deletes profanity. I delete inappropriate, immaterial, redundant, deliberate distractions. So from here on...
Well, then we would delete the whole evolution theory from all the public school textbooks in the world. It's completely redundant, unnecessary, ridiculous, dumb, based on lies. Just teach science in science class. Teach biology. You could learn the names of the bones, the radius, the ulna, the humerus, the scapula. Evolution has nothing to do with biology. It has nothing to do with earth science. Delete all the distractions, and kids could learn some real science for a change. I'm sorry, that was a distraction. But hey, there's no God, so nothing wrong with getting distracted, is there? Okay.
Wrong. I'll still properly address every point or query that pertains to the topic or deserves explanation or rebuttal, but I may ignore everything else that doesn't. If he repeats the same error in 5 different places in one video or in all of them, I need only copy and correct it once. And if I've already corrected that same error in the last video, I don't need to do it again in this one or the next one. So I expect to post shorter videos than I'm replying to as these progress, once we cut out all his incoherent rambling and extraneous redundancies. And if he posts more response videos than he's replying to, then I say he loses by default, because...
Now, how can you make a rule like that? Actually, Larry, how can you make any rules at all? Because there's no God, there's no such thing as right and wrong. Here you are appealing to your audience saying, Hovind didn't do this right. What is right? Are there any absolute truths? I had an atheist one time who said, there are no absolutes. And I said, are you absolutely sure? Larry, are you absolutely sure there should be rules about a debate? And where do absolutes come from? Just side, never mind. Okay.
This is a debate, not a filibuster. He also deleted or disabled his first 4 videos in this debate, supposedly over a potential copyright infringement.
That is correct. Somebody complained we had SpongeBob hanging down here, and I said, you evolutionists, all based on SpongeBob imagination. And one of the atheists contacted our trustees and said, we're going to sue you. We represent Viacom. They lied. Of course, if you're an atheist, there can't be any such thing as a lie. And so we took it down while we checked, is this really a copyright violation? Found out it is not. and put them back up. And then somebody complained about your name being misspelled with 2 A's. I said, oh, let's take it down and correct that. And anytime you take it down, you lose all the comments. That's the way YouTube works, is my understanding. So we didn't take it down out of any fear of anything, except we wanted to get your name spelled right, and we wanted to be careful we weren't breaking a law with SpongeBob.
So he corrected that and put them up again, and I downloaded them as soon as he did, and I'm glad I did because he took them down again. I don't know if he's ever going to put them back up, but...
By the way, Larry, we did put them right back up as soon as we got your name fixed, and we're so thrilled that you put them up on your channel, because now lots of people can watch my videos on your channel. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'll mirror all of them on my channel, so
Good.
y'all can see everything he said that he later took down or I cut out. It's hard to sit through, I know, because he is really impressively obtuse, willfully ignorant, deliberately dishonest, and astonishingly stupid about...
You need to look in the mirror, son. This is called projection. You're putting all your qualities onto me. We'll get into more of that later.
things he does not want to understand, acknowledge, or believe.
You're the one who does not want to understand, acknowledge, or believe that there is a designer. You can look through a microscope or a telescope or just your eyeballs and see design everywhere. You'd have to be a moron to believe this happened by chance. This simple ink pen could not possibly happen by chance. There has to be a designer. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he is. Doesn't matter. This demands a designer. And you guys can't look at a cell through a microscope or a star through a telescope and see design written all over it. You have to be taught to be that dumb. You have to go to school for years to be taught there's no designer. Don't even think about a designer. Just figure out how it happened by chance. You're projecting your flaws onto me, and I don't have those flaws, Larry. I'll help you overcome them if you like. Give me a call or call. Well, we'll get Bob to help you with. He's a professional counselor. He can help you work all this out without much trauma.
If he never puts those videos back up,
I did.
Y'all should still be able to see it.
Thank
Where
you.
I know he does not want his followers watching my videos without his immediate commentary, because
Attention, all Kent Hovind followers. All Kent Hovind followers. You are hereby released. You're freed. The shackles are broken. You can watch anything you want, okay? I don't make any attempt to control that anything anybody watches, Larry. I don't care. If they want to subscribe to my channel, yay, go for it. I think they should. But anybody is in the world, as far as I'm concerned, is free to watch and do what they want. Now, in socialist countries, communist countries, probably the folks in North Korea can't watch my videos. I feel sorry for them. Their dumb ruler prevents that kind of stuff, prevents free thought. But no, see, Christianity is based on free thought. You have complete freedom. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to serve God. There will be a judgment one day, but you don't have to do anything. And I don't have followers that I tell them what to do. This is not a cult where they have to call in and check, hey, Hovind, is it okay if I do this? Can I watch Mickey Mouse on TV? Attention, all Hovind followers. It's okay to watch Mickey Mouse. It's okay to watch anything you want. I just want to remind you, you will answer to God, and be careful what you let into your eyes, because it gets into your brain and might get into your lifestyle. So set no wicked thing before thee. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. Proverbs, what's that, 11, I don't remember, somewhere in there. So be careful what you do put in front of your eyes, but I don't tell my followers, I don't have followers. And if I did, I wouldn't tell them what to watch and not watch. Larry, think about it. Okay, go ahead.
his job is to mislead and deceive, to manipulate, while mine...
Hold it. My job is to mislead and deceive and manipulate. Oh, Larry, you've got it completely backwards, okay? I'm not misleading. Anybody's free to check out any of my claims. I put it out on video. I put references at the bottom. When I say there have been 11,000 people who claim they've seen the Loch Ness Monster, well, that's because there have been 11,000 people that claim they've seen the Loch Ness Monster. I don't say what it is. I say these witnesses often claim it must be something like a plesiosaur, and people are welcome to check out all my claims. You're the guys who are so convinced dinosaurs died out 70 million years ago that if they caught one and put it in the zoo, you would go look at it and say, wow, one survived for 70 million years. You're not allowed to think outside the box, that the Earth might not be millions of years old. Your followers are the ones who are locked into this mindset. The Earth is billions of years old. There's no God. We can't think outside that box. You're the guys locked into this. Larry, come on.
A kid calls anyone who accepts mainstream science an evolutionist because he...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here you are confusing mainstream science and evolution. This is the problem. Amen. Okay? Beer is often sold at football games. Beer has nothing to do with football, okay? And it does not become athletic by association. Marlboro uses cowboys as their logo to sell Marlboro, and Marlboro cigarettes have nothing to do with cowboys. And evolution is not part of mainstream science. Stop associating it with mainstream science.
Mainstream would be what is regarded as normal or conventional, the dominant trend.
Okay, Larry, if you study the history of anything, you'll see the normal dominant trend changes all through history. It was normal dominant trend to have slavery back 200 years ago. Did that mean it was okay? It was normal, all kinds of things. And I go through this. It was normal in George Washington's day for the doctors to think, hey, you're sick, take out your blood. You have bad blood. Google the doctrine of humors. That was normal mainstream teaching, and it was wrong. So here you are appealing to authority again. How can authority be involved in this if there's no God? Larry, think about it. Take a course in logic, okay?
In 2009, the National Academy of Sciences joined many other organizations in the international scientific community to celebrate the Year of Science, which commemorated Darwin's 200th birthday and the 150th anniversary of the publication of his masterwork, On the Origin of Species.
If you think On the Origin of Species is a master work, you have not read very many books, son, okay? It is full of speculation. I've got 4 copies of it here. Come on down, visit Dinosaur Adventureland. We'll give you a tour, take you out to lunch, and let you read the book for yourself. That is not a master work. Darwin, he had revised it 6 times. It's a moron, okay, to try to speculate. And you didn't give the whole title. It's On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. You might want to watch my video number 5 for all the implications of that and how that affected people like Hitler and Stalin and Pol Pot. And I bet if we went to North Korea and did a survey, you'll find all the scientists believe in communism. And all the teachers in the school believe in communism, appeal to majority opinion. Because what happens if you don't? You end up in Siberia or dead, okay? Watch the movie Expelled with Ben Stein if you want to see what happens to teachers in America who dare to question evolution.
In 1987, Newsweek famously reported that by one count there are some 700 scientists with respectable academic credentials out of a total of 480,000 U.S. Earth and Life scientists.
Who decides who's a scientist? 480,000 scientists. Who makes the decision? How do you get into that club? Are you a scientist, Larry? You have 2 years of college. Are you a scientist?
Who give credence to creation science. That means that 99.86% of America's geologists and biologists accept evolution, while
That's a good call, Larry. They have to accept it. Believe it would be a better word here, okay? They believe in evolution. See, when you say they accept it, that implies, well, this is obvious truth. It's not obvious truth. Nobody's ever seen a planet form from nothing. Nobody's ever seen life start from non-living material. Nobody's ever seen any animal produce a different kind of animal. You can believe that stuff if you want, and I'm sure you do, but that's not science. That's religion. And just because a bunch of scientists have a particular religion, that doesn't make it true. I'd be willing to bet there's a whole lot of Hindu scientists and Hindu doctors and Muslim doctors and Jehovah's Witness doctors and Church of Christ doctors. Their religion is unrelated to their profession, and you're trying to tie the two together. Just because a bunch of scientists happen to also believe in evolution, maybe that's because they couldn't graduate from college without claiming to believe in such a thing, but that's another story. And by the way, I'll be glad to debate all them too. Half my brain tied behind my back if I get half the time. One topic at a time, I get half the time. I'll take them all on. All your evolution, all your 99.86%. Good math, by the way, of all the scientists. Okay.
less than 1% believe in creationism.
Hey, I'm working on that, Larry. We're working on that awfully hard. We're going to get everybody to believe in it. And if I can't get it done before I die, Judgment Day, when every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess, everybody's going to believe it then. I'm trying to get people before that so they don't have to face an angry God. Okay.
And then only for religious reasons. And that's here in the United States where we...
Whoa. You're saying these 700 scientists who believe in creationism, I don't know where that number comes from. I would guess it's much higher than that. But you're saying those 700 scientists with what you consider respectable degrees, they only believe in it for religious reasons? You don't think there's anybody who believes in creation because of scientific reasons? Look what you're trying to do here. Look at the subtle way you're trying to sneak in the fact that your religion is truth and everybody else is bad. This is poor logic, Larry.
We have more creationist Christians than any other nation.
Okay, that was the first 8 minutes, folks. We are out of time. We're going to get this posted. We're going to go through this. This may take a long time. We're not going to interrupt our Bible study, which we do every night, or talking about the different animals to do this. As we get time, we'll post a response. Steve will try to do 6, 8, 10 minutes at a time. And if it takes 300 years, we're going to cover Larry's insanity here and help folks see so his followers, A, can quit whining. Oh, Hovind's afraid to answer. I am not the least bit afraid to answer, okay? I think it's a waste of time, so our staff is not here today. Everybody's busy working on things at Dinosaur Adventureland. I'm just going to waste my time to sit down here and answer this nonsense and try to, I won't get him to see it, I'm sure, because his income depends upon this, okay? He's a YouTuber, and that's how he makes his money, to pay for the hair, oh, no hairspray, never mind, just the fan, got to run the fan. And so we will answer, and Larry, I suggest you get brighter clouds. See, when you have this dark all around you, dark clothes, dark clouds, and it's got to make you depressed. Be more cheerful. I'll send you a Hawaiian shirt. Tell me what size and where to send it. I'll send you. My Lady Di gets them for 50 cents a piece for me. So we'll send you a couple of them, and you can be more cheerful about life. Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. I am sorry it took so long. It is unbelievably hectic here. Come on down, visit Dinosaur Adventureland, see what we're doing. Google our materials at drdino.com. Push thumbs up, subscribe, like us, all that kind of stuff. And let's see, what else did I forget? Oh, if you want to, the 777 Club, if you want to join that, we got 3 more days to get signatures on the Kent Hovind is innocent. Please sign the petition. Whatever we get, we're going to send it in. Say, look at this case. This needs to be overturned. And it does. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow. Bye.